Hello, this is the Captain Paxo, and this is a follow-up video to my Nerf mentality video, because it didn't really get my point across. Well, I kept rambling, I kept repeating the same things over and over and over, so I wanted to redo it. So here we're going with take 2, I guess. So the Dark Sword and the estoc. A lot of people are thinking that these weapons are ridiculously overpowered and they need to be hit with the Nerf hammer now. And I just don't think that's the case. And the reason for that is mainly because as the game progresses in its lifespan, you know, as the DLCs come out, and even after the DLCs come out and people are still playing it, we're going to see less and less of the Dark Sword and the estoc. So the main reason why I say we're going to see less and less of the Dark Sword and the estoc is because, well, people already kind of know how to fight it, but that knowledge is going to become more and more widespread, right? And when that becomes more and more widespread and more people know how to use it, it's going to be harder and harder for the estoc and Dark Sword users, because every time someone tries to use those weapons, they're just going to get punished. So they're going to go into obscurity. Well, not obscurity. They're still going to be popular, but they're not going to be seen nearly as much as they are right now. Right? That makes sense. And speaking of like dealing with these weapons, being able to do the out of parry stun, the just perseverance, the weapon art perseverance, and what else was it, like the Black Knight glaive and the spiked mace, just certain weapon arts which completely ignore the Dark Sword and estoc. You know, there are ways to counter these weapons, and people are going to start like finding more and more ways to counter it. It's just that the Dark Sword and the estoc were the easiest things to use and people didn't know how to fight them, but now we're starting to learn how to fight them. We're going to start seeing them less and less because, well, first of all, people are seeing them as like a noob thing to do, and people don't want to be seen as noobs. I mean, who wants that? Who wants to be seen as a bad player? No one. So people are going to stop using it because they don't want to be seen as a noob, and then also people are going to stop using it because they don't want to be part of that crowd. Like, they want to experiment with other stuff, which is what I'm doing. I'm like, I want to experiment with stuff. I might use a straight sword, I might use a rapier, but I'm not going to R1 mash with them. At least not most of the time anyway. So yeah, people are going to be using lots of other stuff. Like the more we as a community fight the Dark Sword and estoc, the more we can punish it, the less people are going to use it, because the less viable it's going to be seen. Right? So people are they're going to gravitate towards other stuff. Like, as the game gets older, more people are going to be wanting to experiment because they're just going to want to try different things out. That's just natural, right? The more you play a game, the more things you want to do, because doing the same thing over and over gets boring. Right? That's natural. So we're gonna see a lot less Dark Sword and estoc users in that aspect, because they're going to be like, you know what, I'm bored of estoc and Dark Sword. I'm going to use something else. Although, actually, the people who use the estoc and the Dark Sword, they're namely just people who want to win no matter what. Right? These guys are like super competitive. They care about their win-loss and stuff like that. But if you care about your win-loss and like getting kill streaks and stuff like that, why don't you play a game that actually keeps track of that shit? You know, why are you playing Dark Souls? In Dark Souls, you have to keep track of that stuff yourself. And like, who wants to do that? It's so much effort. You got to go through the PvE. You got to keep track of all your stats. And you know, there are some games that actually track those stats that are coming out in the autumn or the September, winter, fall, whatever you want to call it. The end of the year, the second half of this year, and the first half of next year. You know, there's going to be plenty of games coming out that allow people to get super competitive, and there's also going to be a lot of games coming out that are going to detract people from playing this game, which means there's just going to be less people playing this game in general, and less people playing this game means less Dark Sword users and less estoc users, right? So it's kind of a good thing. And going back to the point about experimenting with stuff, people are going to find new combos that are really like a lot stronger. Well, maybe not a lot stronger, but strong, like really, really strong. Like I'm trying out a kind of like a blessed, just health regen build. I'm using replenishment. I'll be using Blessed Weapon, I'm using Twin Blades, and I'm using Pontiff's Left Eye, because Twin Blades work really well with Pontiff's Left Eye. So there's going to be plenty of stuff to use in the future, so I feel like people are going to start to not use the same kind of cookie cutter, easy mode kind of stuff. Because, well, you will get bored with it unless you're fighting like a load of people who are just better than you and you can't get any wins with it, in which case you might just move on to something else anyway, right? So I feel like if you've got any urge to try different things out, which I strongly encourage, I am a fan of variation. If you've got any urge to like try something else out, if you get any inkling, then people are going to do it. Right? People are gonna try different things out. They're gonna stop using whatever's easiest because that's obviously not working, and then they'll move on to something else that's really easy to use, like a katana. Yay! But hey, katanas can be set up parried reliably. Reliable is a key word there. I can't reliably set up parry straight swords. I just can't. Don't know what it is. I just can't do it. If I was using the caseless, I probably could. I don't know. But you can reliably parry katanas. Anyway, the main driving point to take home from this is the fact that we will see less estoc and Dark Sword users. That will happen, so do not fret over wanting these weapons nerfed, because I'm pretty sure I said in the first video, calling for a nerf is pointless, because they nerf this, then people move on to something else, and then we call for a nerf then, and then they'll end up nerfing everything in the game, and we'll just end up back at square one. And besides, calling for a nerf is basically the same as saying, I can't fight this, developers, please make it easier on us. Which, when has Dark Souls ever been about making it easy on you, you know? So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. So anyone who's still around, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, because most people click off after about 3 minutes. So I guess let's get into the PvP as a kind of reward for watching it this far. So I'm using the Lothric Knight Spear, which gets you roll backstab more times than fucking NPCs in Dark Souls 1. And I'm also using the Brigand Twin Daggers, which are very interesting. Here's the interesting point. Right now, this character's using the Night Ring, so I have 29 strength and 25 dexterity. I tried refining the Brigand Twin Daggers, or I was just like looking at it, and what was surprising to me is they actually ended up doing less total damage than if I turned them hollow. Now bear in mind, I have 7 luck. 7. And yet hollow gives me more damage than refined. Why? I think the refined or the hollow gives me a little bit more damage in terms of the scaling. Like the scaling increases on the Brigand Twin Daggers, so it just makes the Brigand Twin Daggers really good. Well, that was really interesting. I quite like this Lothric Knight Spear, actually. I do have to say, though, spears in this game are not that good. They're not particularly amazing in PvE, and they're not particularly amazing in PvP. Like, I was trying to use just a standard spear. It just wasn't doing it for me, so I ended up using the Lothric Night Spear, which has just a little bit more range, as well as that increase in hyper armor. Or it says increase in poise, but I don't really know what poise is meant to do, because I sure as hell don't think it's doing anything right now. But there you go. Maybe it'll do something in the future. Maybe in a DLC. I don't know. But it's really good at just poking people, as you can see. It works well in these narrow hallways where, like, most of the time, like, now these two people are like one behind the other, so I can hit both of them at the same time. And also, I'm not clanging my weapon off walls much, because I am just poke, poke, poke. I did say that you do get roll backstabbed a lot with this weapon. I was fighting someone, and I'm pretty sure he tried to roll backstab me maybe 8 times in a row, maybe even more. And it was literally every time I took a swing, he'd roll behind me, and then he tried to backstab me, to which I'll just roll away from him. So then he didn't get the backstab. He tried it like 8 times, even though it just wasn't working. I'm thinking, are you gonna do anything else? But he didn't. He just kept doing that over and over. I can't remember what happened. I didn't put it in this video because it was long and boring. It was 12 minutes. I killed 2 of his phantoms in these really long, arduous fights where I had to drain all of their Estus. I did manage to kill them, but there was another fight that was exactly the same, in which I lost. So, yay. Lots of fun. These, jailers, they are brutal. They are really brutal. When there's 2 people, it seems to really confuse them. Oh, look at that. Took off half of his health, because his health has just been drained so badly. They're really, really evil, but I think they can't actually kill you with their stare. I think it's just to a certain point, you know? Because these guys are getting screwed. And this is quite cool right here. Wait for it. And, come on, come on. 39 damage. 39 damage to kill him. I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh well. But this is pretty much the end of the video. So after that really long rambly, like, 2/3, let's end on a high note. Right? Let's go for a plunge attack. Can we get it? Can we get it? There you go. Plunge attack. But it's not gonna go the way I want it to. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time, and you get to see this glorious gangbang. You don't need 4 people to screw someone up bad. You only need 3. What can you